I'm not even South African, but I sympathize with the Black South Africans and what they're going through, okay? Because a crime on one of us is a crime on all of us. And what they're going through mirrors what happens here in America a lot. So we should all be paying attention to what's going on in South Africa right now and what Donald Trump, I hate saying his name, is trying to do. So Donald Trump has cut off all U.S. federal funding to South Africa, citing so-called land confiscation and claiming that certain classes of people, white, are being treated unfairly without presenting evidence. He argued that white South African farmers are victims of mistreatment and land expropriation. Trump also announced a plan to fast-track citizenship for white South African farmers, portraying them as refugees in need of rescue from their own country. Let's be clear. This is nothing but a blatant defense of colonial theft. White South African farmers are not victims. They are descendants of the very colonizers who stole land from Black South Africans through centuries of violence, apartheid, and dispossession. Yet Trump, of course, is using U.S. government power to protect the interests of those who built their wealth on stolen land, while punishing the South African government for attempting to correct historical injustice. Enough is enough. Black South Africans must reclaim their land. No more white victimhood lies. The time for patience is over. The time for negotiation is over. Black South Africans, the rightful owners of this land, must reclaim what was stolen from them. No compromises, no delays, no more excuses. For too long, we have watched the descendants of colonizers cry victim while still living on the wealth, land, and blood of our ancestors. For too long, we have allowed history to repeat itself, allowing the same people who invaded, murdered, and dispossessed us to dictate the narrative. No more. No more white tears. No more white lies. How dare they claim to be victims when the only reason they have land at all is because of genocide, apartheid, and colonial terrorism? How dare they weep about land seizures when every acre they own is soaked in the blood of Black South Africans who were slaughtered, displaced, and forced into poverty? The real victims are the Black people still landless in their own country, the ones who were robbed not just of land, but of wealth, opportunity, and dignity. And yet, we are still being told to sympathize with the very people who built their fortunes on the suffering of our ancestors. We are told to be fair and negotiate and to reform slowly. But where was fairness when they stole everything from us? Where was negotiation when our families were thrown off their land? When our ancestors were forced into slums while they thrived on stolen soil? We must wake up. History cannot repeat itself again. How many times must history teach us the same lesson before we finally listen? Did they return the land willingly? No. Did they ever apologize for apartheid? No. Did they ever repair the damage caused? No. Did they ever stop benefiting from their crimes? No. So why do we keep trusting them? Why do we keep falling for their false cries of oppression when we are the ones still suffering? They never stopped seeing us as beneath them. They never stopped hoarding their wealth that was built on Black labor and Black death. And now, when justice is finally knocking on their door, they want to flip the script and claim to be the oppressed, the victim. We cannot fall for this again. The land must return to Black South Africans now. This is not a request. This is not a plea. This is a demand. The land must be taken back and restored to its rightful owners. Every single acre that was stolen through colonial violence and apartheid belongs to the Black South Africans. And no white farmer, no foreign government, and no Western media outlet has any right to say otherwise. There is no moral debate. Land theft was a crime, and land justice is the solution. Yes. This is long overdue. No more delays, no more compromises, no more waiting for approval from the same people who stole from us. The time for action is now. Black South Africans, reclaim your land now.